Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Good Business Witch podcast. I'm Megan, and today we are talking about building a brand that is aligned with your soul's purpose. All right. So are you ready to dig in? Let's just do it. So, we've heard a whole lot about purpose driven brands, and I just want to kind of define what a brand is for you. A brand is kind of a company's essence. So, you could be the brand for your business. It's like your company or your business's attitude, its vibe. Right. So when we're talking about brands, if the word brand feels a little more academic for you, or it feels a little amorphous for you, then just think about your company's vibe, and that will kind of help us with that. So when we're talking about that vibe, that brand, and aligning with our soul's purpose, we're really looking at how we can create authenticity, connection, and impact with our business and with our work, right? So how do we do that? If it has been a hot minute since you have tuned into your personal values or your business's values, I really encourage you to tap back into that. I do have a resource on that, actually. If you go to meganwinkler.com/everything, you go to my everything page, and there is a free values worksheet in there. So that will kind of help you to hone in on what your values are. Now, your values are so large. When I first started my business and I heard about values, I really kind of thought about values like in the context of right and wrong, and of kind of like, I don't know, almost like a Judeo-Christian format, right? Of like, you don't steal, you don't cheat, that sort of thing, which are all good values. But our values in our business go beyond that, right? So some of the values that I have in my business are laughter and fun, right? It's like, how can we have fun with this? Playfulness is a value. Integrity is a value. I extend that to a saying that is, you do what you say you're going to do. So obviously, like, things happen, right? Scheduling conflicts happen, accidents, you get sick, like whatever. But it's like, if you say you're going to do something, I live my life and run my business and really appreciate when other people do, in such a way that I am going to do what I say I am going to do. Does that mean I'm going to be successful every time? No. Does it mean that I am never going to have a sick day? Also, no. But with the intent of being in integrity and doing the things that I say I'm going to do, it sets such a beautiful ground rule for myself personally and in my business. A couple other values that are in my business. One is transparency and authenticity. So, we talk a lot about authenticity. We talk a lot about vulnerability. That doesn't mean you have to share everything with your audience, right? It's good to show, if you have a messy house. Like, my house is not Instagram worthy. However, if you're watching on video, you can see all the stuff around me. It is absolutely full of personality. And I am a maximalist. And I have a puppy who deserves all of the toys in the world. And so she has gazillions of them. And they're always spread around the house and spread around the living room. Like, I have a 19-year-old son, and he's not the tidiest, and it's okay. Like, showing that in my Instagram stories or whatever, like, that's just me being authentic and vulnerable. It doesn't mean I have to like drag y'all through the mud on like any slight inconvenience or any major life change. So as you're thinking about your own brand, if you think about being vulnerable or authentic or transparent, that's really just about kind of living and operating within honesty. It doesn't mean you have to share everything, right? So, when we talk about our kind of passion, purpose driven business, our soul aligned brand versus a commercially driven brand, we can kind of point at a few examples that really stand out as a difference. And so, one of those is I like Ariana Huffington's Thrive Global. After she sold the Huffington Post or the Huff Post, she really wanted to dive into a publication that was all about really helping people through burnout with mindfulness, with wellness and health. And so that obviously has commercial value, but it's very soul aligned. Like you can actually go onto the website and read more about why she formed it, what led her there, that sort of thing. A commercially driven brand is going to be more like Target, right? And there's a place for that and there's a value for that. And so when you think about, who you want to emulate, how you want to do things, think about those soul aligned brands. And don't discount the fact that you want to have some commercial appeal as well, but you're not Target, right? You're not Amazon, you're not Starbucks, you're not Michael's, Joann's, any of these places. You're just soul aligned. And so your audience is going to be much smaller. Even if you become big like Denise DT or Marie Forleo, right? Those I would say are purpose aligned brands and purpose driven brands over commercially driven brands. And they're big brands, like they're huge. Danielle Laporte's another one. Big, huge brands, but they still do not have the vast appeal of like a Target. You know what I mean? So remember that your audience is going to be smaller, but your audience is also going to be connecting with you when you are working in your purpose. Cool. So, a couple of things that you can do when you're kind of tapping into your soul's purpose. So, if you feel like you've just been kind of going through the motions and you feel like you're just kind of spinning your wheels and you really want to revamp or realign your business, tap into your values. Like I said, it's on my everything page. Really tap into ways that you can capture the essence of those values. So for instance, if one of your values is also playfulness, like how can you capture that essence for yourself and for your audience? So with yourself, if you are working in that place of playfulness and joyfulness, you're just going to be happier day to day, right? And then if as a brand, if you're seeing this and communicating this as a brand, like right now, we could all use a little more playfulness and a little more joy, right? Because things are it's just a lot, right? A lot of stuff is going on. And so communicating that through maybe you shift your colors around a little bit, or maybe you brainstorm a new like segment or something where you are, profiling something that you can really help your clients out with, but do it in a fun way. Aligning your values with your tasks, amazing way to align your soul with your business. Another thing you can do is just kind of explore some passions. And I am getting affirmation tingles. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I've got my eyes closed because I'm like, yes, somebody needs to hear this. Passions. Explore your passions. Identify the activities that energize you. These are activities within your business, but these are also just activities in life, because we get so bogged down with the day-to-day of our businesses that often we kind of lose track of our personal lives and the things that personally make us feel better and happier and fulfill us. So if it's been a while since you've engaged in a hobby, or if you keep meaning to like pick something new up or start a new class or, take up yoga or whatever, like go find those things. Go find something you're passionate about. And then your unique gifts. You really should sit down, and I know I said should, sorry. But I really do feel like everyone who owns a business should sit down and really journal out their unique gifts and their unique strengths and talents. And the reason I say that is the brain is built to keep us alive. And I know this feels like a complete topic jump, but it's not. The brain is built to keep us alive. Because the brain is built to keep us alive, we are programmed to recognize faults. We are programmed to recognize deviations from the norm. We are programmed to recognize when we are quote unquote wrong. Because eons ago, when we were traipsing through the forest and we were with our tribe of other humans, it was very important to assimilate and to be one of the tribe, one of the pack, because if we weren't, we would get left behind or kicked out or in some way abandoned and outcast. And so over the eons, right, our brains have evolved with that innate knowledge in heart, right? At heart. Wow. Right there. So when we are going about our day-to-day lives or our day-to-day business tasks and successes and failures, we are so much more likely to recognize when we didn't do well, when we didn't, succeed at something, when something went bad, when somebody got mad at us. So it is so, so important to log when great things happen. I want you to keep a folder in Google or Dropbox or wherever of like screenshots from your clients and your customers. And just keep like a running document and copy paste that stuff into that document. And so that way you can look back on it. I want you to journal about your unique strengths. I want you to take some time every week, like on a Friday, like whatever your last day of the work week is, and write down all the cool things that happened that week, everything that you should celebrate. In fact, I'm in a networking group and I run a 2 times a week meeting. So I don't know if that's bi-weekly. But anyways, so we meet on Mondays to really talk about like what our goals are for the week. But then we meet on Thursdays with the express purpose of celebrating our accomplishments or celebrating something. And literally every week, someone has something to celebrate in their business, in their life, whatever. And so I really encourage you to recognize where you stand out, how you stand out, and where you're succeeding. And you can kind of counterbalance all of that genetic and evolutionary programming. Okay. So a few things that you're going to want to do when you are building your brand with this purpose-driven aim in mind. So creating a clear mission statement and vision for your company. If you haven't done this, I really encourage you to do so. Excuse me. And when you get really clear about your mission and vision, you can put it up on sticky notes all over your office, or you can have it like right on your homepage or on your screensaver on your computer so that you're seeing it all the time. And that really helps bring you back home because it's so easy to get distracted by things. I mean, I had 2 different colleagues land in my inbox today with bundles of all these free resources, which are amazing. I think bundles are great. I've been a member of several, and it can be really distracting. And so coming back to my mission and vision, when I'm presented with these opportunities, helps me keep on the kind of the straight path of where I'm wanting to go. Right. So honing in on that is super important. And then brand voice and messaging. So as you're tuning into your values, like, how do you want to sound? How do you want to communicate with your people? What's the tone, right? How does that tone of voice and tone of messaging resonate with the people that you're trying to reach? And then finally, you're going to want to do some of that visual identity stuff. So you may already have a logo, color scheme, and imagery that kind of align with your purpose. If not, or if they are, a little outdated or not quite so aligned anymore, it's a good time to kind of see what you need to switch around. I actually switched my colors this year. And earlier in 2024, my colors were kind of this bright orange, and then like a purple and blue. Well, I realized that the purple and the blue, even though it was a curated palette that I pulled from, I actually was in a program where she helped you decide those colors. I realized that my brand is actually a little more vibrant than that. So I kept the orange, and you can kind of see on my Instagram if you scroll like way back. But I kept that orange, and then I brightened that purple and blue to make them kind of cooler, more vibrant colors. And it helped shift my brand and my vibe so much just by tweaking those hex codes. So it doesn't have to be big. And if you love what you have and you feel like it aligns, don't change it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. What are some of the challenges to doing this? Because we got to keep it real, right? So one of the big things is that fear of not fitting in. Again, that goes back to our evolutionarily, biologically programmed tendencies in our brains. Like this is the mind over matter that we're talking about here. So fear of not fitting in, or fear of sticking out too much. There's also the difficulty in defining your niche. And I go back and forth on the idea of a niche. I think it's really important to have one. However, when I'm working with my clients, everyone's view of what their niche is shifts and changes throughout their business life cycle. And it is different than everybody else's. So really, when you're talking about your niche, you're talking about the people that you want to be working with and you want to communicate with. So that can be really difficult. And quite honestly, I needed help from a coach myself to really define my niche. And then balancing your purpose with profitability. The thing is we do need to engage in that ethical, authentic marketing that I talked about last week. And we do need to engage in sales that are effective. We do need to be reaching out to people. We do need to be creating those connections. However, there is a vast array of choices and ways that we can do that. So if you want to learn more about that, I would love to welcome you into my community, either in the MBA program or one-on-one, where we can really tap into that authentic marketing and sales that you need to have in your business that you may not have and you may be struggling with because you're really trying to align with your purpose and values, and sales and marketing doesn't feel aligned. I get it. Totally get it. So let me know if you need help. Again, aligning your brand with your soul's purpose, with your values is so, so important, especially right now. People are being more discerning with how they spend money. People are being more discerning about who they work with. And so I want to encourage you to step forward. If you see a wrong that needs righted in the world, talk about it. Talk about it in your stories, or share something on LinkedIn or Facebook. Open up a Substack. Let people get to know you a little bit, because we really want to connect with the people that we resonate with, both as consumers, but also as business owners. Because, and I think I mentioned this last week, it's like, I want to do business with people I like too. That's not just a one-way street. So be sure to tap back into those values. Be sure to tap back into your unique strengths and your unique offerings and who you are uniquely as a human being. And you are going to be on your way to having this purpose-driven business and brand. And I am here if you need any help whatsoever. Head over to meganwinkler.com to learn more about working with me. Head over to my meganwinkler.com/everything for my everything page for that values worksheet and a few other resources. And I also want to share with you the Lunar Sales Magick System. It is launched and ready to go, refined. It is $9 and will remain $9 only because I want to get it in as many hands as possible. So I'm going to drop that link into the show notes, and I will have it here on YouTube as well in the caption. And if you need anything, if you have suggestions for this show or any questions, please reach out to me directly. hello@meganwinkler.com. Like I said, I send all my emails and I respond to all my emails. That is me on the other end of it. Find me on Instagram at the Good Business Witch, and here obviously on YouTube as well. So I will chat with y'all soon. Let me know if you need anything. I hope you're having a fabulous, fabulous July. Happy Leo season, by the way. I've got a blog about that with some affirmations for you on the website as well. I got all kinds of resources, all the stuff. So until next time, my friends, may you have a beautiful, purpose-driven business and brand. And as always, stay magical.